Hey, everyone. So I've thought quite a bit about gear acquisition recently. Why we buy new gear? Do we need it? Can I make more with less? So on and so forth. And today I wanted to talk about the scariest thing of all. Pause for intro. So the scariest thing about gear acquisition is a phenomenon known as Tulsatz, or more commonly known as the lens that sits on the shelf. Maybe it's a lens you bought thinking you'd get into bird photography and you actually are afraid of birds, or maybe it's a macro lens that you bought to shoot tiny food, but you realize that the food was too small and therefore scary. In any case, for me, it's my Sony 70-200 f4 lens. This bad boy right here. Boop boop. Look at that chonker. So why do I absolutely despise this lens? I don't, but let's speculate. I bought this lens 3 years ago, and it is by far the lens I use the least. I'm not sure if it's the f4 number that turns me off, and I by no means intend to be an aperture snob. In fact, did you know that every lens has an aperture setting that it's rated as having its peak performance at?
Yuck!
It's true. So I recommend looking that up, or I'll make a video at some point talking about lenses and their preferred aperture. Anyways, I bought this lens because I wanted more reach with my camera and my photos. And to be honest, while it's the lens I use the least, it's probably the lens that I'm the most intentional with. Here are some of my faves. Now, I bought the f4 mainly because I found a great used copy and it was a lot cheaper than the f2.8 version, but also for weight. I do a lot of hiking and I would rather schlep this bad boy up a mountain than add another like 13, 14 pounds to get the f2.8 version up there. Now, another thing I like about the lens is that it causes me to be very specific about my composition and subject because it narrows the frame so much. And I actually love that. So I am going to take this bad boy out for a day and not shoot with anything else. So let's go see what we can find. So initially, I intended just to go straight for the ocean, having never been here. I stumbled across this little pond. So saw a couple birds, thought I might give the big boy a try, so let's see what we can find here. Hey, bird photographers, listen up. How do you do this? Do you just sit and wait in the same spot for like hours? It's midday, so like I don't know what I'm expecting, but like you just sit and you wait. How do you do it? Let me know. I don't know, man. You own one of these houses. You win. Okay, well, we've made it to the destination for today's video. After trying my hand at bird photography, I was very patient. I waited 7 or 8 minutes and then I got like hungry. So I'll try bird photography again a different day. But for now, we have another pipe dream, and that's called find some marine wildlife to take photos of. So we're gonna have a breach, a couple whales, a couple dolphins, a couple big fish, a couple scuba divers, a couple kayakers, looks promising.
3 hours later.
Okay, so I went into this shoot with very little plan, but I'm actually happy with a few of the images that turned out. As an additional test, because I could have done better, I did a lovely 10-hour hike, and I took this lens to a mountain peak, and here are a few shots from there as well. It's interesting in using this lens a little more over the past week because I find myself almost wanting more reach. Like it's not quite long enough. I want to be closer. Maybe I'm just bad at this. I don't know. Primarily I shoot weddings and landscapes, and both of those things require a tight pack, at least the way that I like to set it up. And I'm usually able to move around a lot, so I don't necessarily need like a 600mm lens. For photos, I'll usually shoot with a 35 and an 85. For video, I run with the Tamron 17-28 and the Tamron 28-75. Numbers! It saves me from doing a lot of gimbal balancing, and let's be honest, the A7S III can basically see in the dark at this point, so the 2.8 aperture for lighting purposes has never been an issue. But this then begs the question, why do I have this lens? Which begs the question, why do I have a lot of gear that I don't use? Leaving options open is great, but there is probably a lot of random stuff that I've acquired that I will likely never use, and that feels wasteful. Now, using gear that has been collecting dust, at least for me, is really fun and almost brings back the excitement of when I bought it in the first place. I'm able to see things a bit differently than I do on my day-to-day photography and videography work, and it reinforces why I use the gear that I do, but also reminds me not to be so stuck in a certain way of doing things that I can't grow and be better. In closing, if you have gear that sits on the shelf, send it to me. Thank you so much. Love you. Bye.